So I found this really hard, okay, because there's two players in particular that I wanted to get in, but I couldn't get in. And there's one position, as you're about to see, that probably isn't great, but I didn't have a representative from Liverpool. So that's why I put Andy Robertson in. Just to give you a brief recap on this, I know that Erling Haaland is the joint top scorer in the Premier League with 20 goals. However, 4 of them were penalties, and I don't think he's in great form right now. And he's nowhere near his tally from last year. And Ollie Watkins' 19 goals have all come from open play, no penalties in there. Saka was an interesting one. The one omission that I really wanted to get in was Martin Odegaard, because I love this player. But how do I stop or not put in Rice or Rodri? Because there's only 3 Man City players, LME, who have been more involved in goals than Rodri. And you wouldn't think that. Palmer's an obvious one. Foden's an obvious one. Rice has been outstanding. Saka was the one I thought would have put Odegaard instead of Saka and maybe move Palmer forward. This is what I've gone with. The other player at left back that I've thought about putting in, because I don't think left back's been pretty strong this season in the Premier League, is Anthony Robinson, who's been outstanding at Fulham. But I just thought if I put him in, and I don't have Liverpool, who've been in this title race for so long, I don't have a representative from there, then what am I doing? So that is what I've gone from. And I'm sitting here and I'm going to wait to get the coconut shy and the custard pie and the decisions that I've made that you disagree with. What do you think of it overall?
Well, listen, if we can get our producers Sam and Bethan to bring your graphic back up again, there's a lot of similarities between mine and yours. And first of all, I would like to, on behalf of the good Lord and the Savior, Dibu Martinez, I would like to thank you for including him in goal. Ollie Watkins is a no-brainer. You're going to see my graphic in a second. But aside from the 19 goals with no penalties, he also leads in assists, like in the league. So that's tremendous. And the Erling Haaland thing, by the way, you'll see my graphic soon, but I totally agree with you. And that's for a few reasons. One, yes, 20 goals, commendable, whatever. But like you said, 4 of them are penalties. And also, here's like the actual criteria for Erling Haaland this season. To me, if you play for Manchester City with this team, the bare minimum is 20 goals as a striker, I think. Like, especially if you're Erling Haaland. I am not taking anything away from what he is, but I also didn't have him in the graphic. My back line, MD, is where me and you differ a little bit. So maybe if we go on to my graphic, we can now focus on that. And by the way, there's a little criteria for my Premier League team of the season. One of them,
you got to play for Arsenal?
No, I mean, Liverpool, I'm sorry, Liverpool fans, I don't have you at all. But the reason, some of the things that I judged it in was on respective statistics. That's stats that are specifically there to judge the actual player. I based it on minutes, the impact on their actual team, and then consistency, growth, and improvement. So, and like you, man, this was so difficult to do. But to me, Jordan Pickford, second most clean sheets in the Premier League in an Everton team that's truly suffered on and off the pitch. Joint most minutes played in the league. His impact is unquestioned. You mentioned Anthony Robinson. Well, I have Anthony Robinson. I think this is the best Premier League season he has had so far. So consistent. Most interceptions in the Premier League. That's 73. By the way, the next one after that is Lewis Cook with 53. That's how good he is as a left back. It's mean there's going to be many suitors this summer for Anthony Robinson, I think. You cannot have Saliba without Gabriel, MD. I'm sorry.
Understand. But I was getting to an Arsenal 11 otherwise. So, and the fact is that Man City are the favourites for the title. So that's why there was a little bit of kind of thinking about that. Look, Saliba's not missed a minute. He's played every single minute. And Gabriel didn't start. Gabriel's been brilliant. Don't get me wrong. And he's probably a better threat as well from set plays, although they're both decent from set plays. But Gabriel was dropped for the first game of the season. And this is, look, if we're doing this is the best 11 players in the Premier League, then it'd be different because Salah, of course, is going to be in there. But he's come back having been injured on international duty at AFCON.
Yeah,
he's not been the same player. So Konsa's an interesting one at right back because there's a few options here. Trent hasn't played enough, and a lot of times he's played as a defensive midfielder, and he's brilliant from set plays and everything like that. But as a defender, as a right back, no, not for me. Kyle Walker's got back to pretty much close to where he is. I think one of the good things about Konsa is that Matty Cash was pretty much the first choice right back at Villa, and they've found a way to get Konsa and Cash in the team.
Well, I'll tell you why I have Ezri Konsa for a few reasons. Number one, I think at this very moment, if Gareth Southgate doesn't select him for England in the Euros, then I have no idea what he's doing. Because as somebody that watches this club day in and day out, Ezri Konsa has, and you mentioned it at the very beginning, this is not about the best player in that position. It's the criteria that I've met. Yeah. To me, he has dealt with two positions throughout the entire season with ease, the center back role and the right back role, because Matty Cash did help, but he was injured for a significant amount of time during the season. And Ezri Konsa took over a lot, because what Unai Emery likes to do is he likes to split his center backs, where Ezri Konsa almost becomes a right back and a center back. So in a way, it's a default, because when we're being asked to put forward at the back, I had to put Konsa in there ahead of Ben White, yes, and others as well. The other reason, by the way, is that Ezri Konsa is there, is because when you look at his stats, he's one of the highest center backs / right backs when it comes to both touches, moving the ball forward, and also protecting his goalkeeper. And that's a really, really good trait for me to include this. And that's why I have him. And then me and you have Declan Rice and Rodri in there, right? So we're looking good in the midfield. Listen, here's the thing about Cole Palmer. I honestly, Chelsea could be fighting relegation without Cole Palmer. That's how good he has been this season. 20 goals, 9 assists. And yes, they got destroyed by Arsenal, and Cole Palmer wasn't the only reason, but that's how good he is. And at 21 years old, it's unbelievable what he's done. So I had to have him. So to me, Erling Haaland not being in here, I don't even feel, I'm not going to lose 1 minute of sleep, Mark Donaldson, about Erling Haaland not being in my lineup, because the proof is in the pudding. The people that we have up there, specifically Ollie Watkins, deserves it more than him.
Well, look, last season he was the first name on everybody's best 11 in the 100%. Premier League. And he's probably, his achievements last season and in his career, he's probably fallen short of that. And he's been injured and whatever.
I have Martin Odegaard, by the way. I
wanted Odegaard, yeah, and I wanted Odegaard in there. It was between him and Saka, and if I had a do-over, again, I don't think there's a wrong answer there. But
yeah,
I want to talk about those who we have omitted. Another player I wanted to put in at right back was Ben White. And a player at left back was Destiny Udogie. Now, Udogie's been brilliant this season for Spurs in that role. I don't think he's a great defender, though. And this is what you'd... I mean, it's like, is Andy Robertson the best defender? He's good going forward as well. So what's your criteria here? That's maybe a slight flaw at left back for me. I do have Mickey van de Ven in there as a centre-back. There's no one quicker in the Premier League. He allows you to be able to play a high line, and you can squeeze the opposition. So I totally get your goalkeeper pick in Jordan Pickford. Again, that was something between him and Martinez.
No, I'm not going to argue with your pick and goalkeeper.
No, exactly. Walker, you could have easily Ben White in there. Yeah. I wouldn't have gone Konsa, but you've seen them more than I have. And I understand Saliba and Gabriel as a pairing, of course, but just Van de Ven's been outstanding in his first season.
I don't. There's no way I can argue with your picks. I stay stoic on Anthony Robinson, and I'm probably acting more of his agent right now. But this boy had a tremendous season. That game he played against was it Tottenham? Actually, it was one of the best performances I have seen by anybody in the season this league, and it was unbelievable. Anthony Robinson really demonstrated how good he can be, how consistent he can be in an inconsistent Fulham, because it hasn't been all peachy for them, as the table has shown. But you mentioned players that we didn't put in, and I've got a few. Thomas Kaminski, man, he has had a tremendous season. Luton Town have really struggled. Obviously, they've had some great moments, but they're trying to stay in this Premier League. Kaminski, I thought, was amazing. Dominic Solanke was, who remains high up there in goal-scoring charts. Nathan Ake. How about Nathan Ake, Mark Donaldson? I thought he's a good contender for a left back as well. I know that it's balance between him and Gvardiol, but I thought Ake was really good. Douglas Luiz, Pau Torres, and the partnership between Branthwaite and Tarkowski. Those are my honorable mentions in my Premier League team of the season.
And if Newcastle have to sell and get a lot of money in the summer, one of my favourite players is Alexander Isak. He's been outstanding. He's just a natural goal scorer. Loved commentating on him in La Liga, and now he's doing it in Newcastle, and I think he'll go to the very top. One other mention, just quickly, Alfie Doughty at Luton. Just getting forward, providing loads of assists. They've been great to watch this season. And one final point on Ben White. It was 2 minutes before the Fantasy Premier League deadline, and I had Ben White in my team. And I'm chasing. and I took him out for Gabriel to be safe because I wasn't sure of his minutes. So maybe that's another reason why Ben White doesn't. It's totally selfish.